What's really good? What's really good? What's really good? Welcome back to another episode alive with the Sanchez Show. Normally it's Wednesday, but tonight we're doing Thursday night with the Sanchez Show as we got a major game going down tonight in the NFL. As always, I'm your host, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend of Two Games. My brother Will Gordon will be joining me very shortly. With that being said, in the meantime, in the between time, hope everybody's enjoying their Thursday night. Hope you're having a safe and happy holiday season so far. And shout out to my brother Trippion. He won't be on the live tonight, but I see the comment section already buzzing. We got a lot to get into. NFL Week 16. I know we got to talk about the NBA Cup. I mean, man, when you're right, you're right. I tried to tell you guys not only with the Knicks win, I said give it an 8-point advantage. They did just that. But yeah, we'll take our victory lap in a second. Shout out to the comment section, as I mentioned. I see Kyrie, I see Ron. Let's see who else is in here. I see D'Angelo, I see Pooh, I see Squeeze. Man, the comment section is buzzing tonight. Let's get to it. We're only going to go live for about an hour tonight leading up to kickoff of this very important Thursday night game. Rams at Seattle kicks off at 8:15 tonight. We're a little after 7 p.m. right now. As always, guys, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We are live normally every Wednesday night, but again, this week we pushed to Thursday because of the significance of the Thursday night game. But make sure you subscribe. We are live every week on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And then on Monday night, we're back with Real Fans, Real Talk at 7 p.m., all on those same platforms as well. You see the social media handle. Make sure you follow me on social media. Legend of Two Games completely spelled out. With that being said, it is week 16 of the NFL. We're going to get to these questions right now because right off the bat, the first three questions of the night are all pertaining to quarterbacks from this week. So we got to get to that. But last week, I give you guys the picks every Thursday night. You see the picks scrolling on the bottom of the screen for this upcoming week 16. Last week was a great week, 12-4 against the spread. Our losses last week, my losses, I should say. I had Tampa Bay minus 4.5 on that Thursday night game. That didn't pan out. Though they had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. They should have held on, but that didn't work out. It's okay. We had the Chiefs minus 4.5. Remember, the Chiefs were up 10 points in the first half. Then it fell apart. Mahomes gets injured. I know we're going to talk about that tonight. We thought the Browns would keep it close with the Bears. Maybe if Jerry Jeudy didn't have passes bouncing off his chest, they would have, but they did. And we lost that Dallas game against the Vikings. We had Dallas. But other than that, it was a super successful night. I flip-flopped on a Monday night game. I'm going to take credit for the win because last Thursday I did say take Pittsburgh minus 3. I talked about it on Monday. The only thing that steered me away from it was at that point on Wednesday. We hadn't gotten the news about TJ Watt yet. So there were some things in that area that I was concerned with Pittsburgh, but they were able to win. But other than that, we were right about the Rams last week. The Colts kept it close, which we thought they would. They were getting 14 points, way too many points. We were right about the Saints, my favorite underdog of last week. That covered. What else? We love the Broncos as a home underdog. That covered. We love Philly minus 11.5. That covered. I thought the Commanders would go on the road as an underdog and win. They did. So it was a very successful week. Right now, we got a lot of hot teams. I know the Broncos are riding an 11-game winning streak. They're the hottest team right now. The Patriots just lost their winning streak to Buffalo last week. But now tonight, you got two teams at 11-3. The division is on the line. We're down to the last 3 weeks of the season. The division potential number 1 seed is on the line. Crazy to think that Sam Darnold was in this position last year with the Minnesota Vikings. If you guys remember, the Vikings and the Lions went down pretty much to the last weekend of the season with identical records with an opportunity to have the number 1 overall seed. Sam Darnold fell apart those last 3 weeks of last year. So something to keep in mind, which leads me to our first question of the night. It wasn't the first question in the comment section, but it is from the person who presented the first one. So it's about the same, right? Shout out to Ron. He wants to know, expect Darnold to keep up with Stafford. I don't. Now, that's not to say Sam Darnold's going to have a bad game. I think Sam Darnold will have an effective game. Obviously, Smith and Jigba is top 5 receiver in the game right now. You expect him to get a lot of targets tonight. You expect him to be the focal point of this offense. But these two teams are built differently. The Seahawks are built around their defense and then not turning the ball over. The Rams are built around this offense. And I know Devontae Adams isn't playing tonight, but there's still a lot of weapons here. Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, there's a lot of weapons here, multiple tight end sets. This is a really good Rams team. So I think in terms of production, Sam Darnold will not be able to keep up with Matthew Stafford tonight. But I think more importantly for Sam Darnold, there's an opportunity to kind of make up for what happened last year. Like I said, last year, going into the final 3 weeks of the season, he had the Minnesota Vikings in position to potentially not only win the division, but have the number 1 seed. They fell apart the last 2 weeks of the season with back-to-back losses. One of those losses was to this Rams team. He struggled against the Rams earlier this year. Keep in mind, he had the 4 interception game when they played in Los Angeles earlier this year. So he's looking for revenge there. But it just seems like the Rams might have figured something out here. And I like the Rams tonight. I think their offense will put up the numbers that they normally put up. I think on the flip side, Sam Darnold will struggle again. He could prove me wrong. But I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of the same issues we saw at the end of last season present themselves, not only tonight, but I think through the last couple of weeks of this season. Ron Charles, this was the first comment, so let's get to it, Ron. What's next for Tua Tagovailoa? What's next is he's obviously been benched for Week 16. They play the Saints this week, I believe it is. Pardon me, I have my picks written down, but I didn't have the actual game, so I apologize. But let's see. I think that's the Saints game this week, right? No, they got the Bengals. Sorry, they're playing the Bengals this week. He'll be on the bench. Looks like this week. Looks like probably for the rest of the season. There are things with Tua's game that are very frustrating, and there are things that should be corrected at this point that have not been corrected. And on the Monday night telecast, I thought Troy Aikman did a great job of highlighting just how poorly Tua is at reading defenses and how poorly he's missing opportunities to hit open receivers in their breaks. It happened a couple times. That first interception he threw was a terrible interception. He's throwing in the coverage. And I thought, again, if you go back and look at the highlight from that, Troy Aikman did a great job of showing you that Asante Samuel Jr., who's in that corner position, playing out and supposed to be playing the flats, there's no receiver to threaten him in the flats. So it allowed him to just drop in coverage and get underneath Jalen Waddle and make the interception. But Tua's got to understand that, right? Tua, as the quarterback, calling the play and understanding where every receiver is supposed to be and the layers of offensive players, right? Understanding who's at what layer, who's my deep, who's my intermediate, who's my short, my check down guy. Understanding that there is no receiver on that side. And you have to understand that if there's no receiver on that side and they sit in zone, that corner is probably just going to continue to drift into my passing window. Now, I don't know how Tua didn't recognize that. I don't understand how that's something that, as you game plan for the week, you didn't realize. But it's a poor throw by Tua. He had multiple poor throws last week. He had several that he just held onto the ball too long and took too many big hits. And I really believe his time in Miami might be done. Now, maybe Mike McDaniels doesn't keep the job and another head coach comes in and they figure out a way and they feel that they can kind of revitalize Tua. But from what I've seen, I don't think Tua's there. And I think Mike McDaniels probably has done enough to keep the job beyond this season. Only time will tell. But I think moving on from the quarterback is his way of knowing and showing that he's comfortable in his job security and he can move on from Tua at this point. The irony in all this, Will, give me a thumbs up once you're ready, bro. Will Gordon and I, if it wasn't last year, it might have been the year before, we had actually coined the phrase, and it was one of the titles of our episode, 2 a week notice. What we said then, he was on the verge of losing his job. And then he played well enough to kind of keep the job and take some of the heat off him. But here we are again. We're 3 years into this, I guess, partnership with Mike McDaniels. That hasn't worked. We're a full 5 years into Tua's career, and there have been no significant strides, no playoff wins. He's actually gets worse as the season goes on. He's got a terrible record in cold weather. These things continue to show their head. When Mike McDaniels first got there, and this was an explosive offense that was catching people by surprise, I remember there was a game, I think, when they hung 60 on somebody one time, right? And then as the season went on, they just couldn't find a way to maintain that offense. Now they've developed more of a running game to try to help Tua and try to alleviate him having to throw the ball 30-plus times, and it still doesn't matter. Even with the success that Devin Achane has had, they still can't pass the ball successfully, and they can't win cold weather games. I think Tua is done in Miami. I think Mike McDaniel stays. I think they move on with another quarterback, whether that be through the draft or free agency. Again, only time will tell. But I think Tua is done. The phrase that Will Gordon and I coined about 2 years ago, 2 a week notice, it's officially happened. He's on his way out with 3 weeks to go in the season. Will, once you're ready, give me a thumbs up, bro. As always, got my brother Will Gordon with me. Will, what's good?
What they do, baby? What's up with y'all? Happy Thursday, everybody.
I see you got your funeral gear on. You just came from the Chiefs' funeral.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying?
How,
I was a pallbearer for the jump, man. You know what I'm saying? I was helping carry him to the grave site. You know.
Will said I'm not gonna believe it until I see the dirt on top of the
Yeah,
casket.
for real. I had to
Well,
make sure.
listen, congratulations, because I do have to give you your props. You started this year off by saying this was going to be a year that the Chargers were going to get over that hump of the Chiefs. Now, even though you guys aren't leading the division, you beat the Chiefs 2 times, right? You beat them in Kansas City, you beat them in a neutral site, you put them away. You've officially ended not only the season, but probably this version of the Chiefs.
Yeah, the
How
Chiefs
you
have been
feeling?
known.
Yeah, how
Man,
you feeling?
it feels really good, man. I mean, that's not our goal. For the
Right.
season is not to just sweep the Chiefs, but in the meaning that it had, where we really needed a win to stay in this wild card race. With, as you said, with Denver coming out of nowhere, leading the division. Um, for us to get that win meant a lot for us, but also for it to end virtually end the Chiefs season and keep them out of the postseason for the first time in I don't know how long. It just made that win that much more tasty. You know what I mean? All week long, I've been on a high. Just appreciating finally that we finally got over that hump. So what I mean, we got that behind us now, but now we got this thing in front of us. These Broncos, man, they looking like the real deal. That defense is something that's ferocious. They got a Super Bowl defense over there. So I
Yeah.
mean, we beat them once, and we gonna see them again. So actually, I was talking today. Everybody's already pretty much crowning the Broncos as the division champs, but we can catch them.
It is going to take a little bit of help for you guys to be able to get them.
Yeah,
Um, you guys beat them early this year,
right.
so you have that in your favor. And like I said, if you can win out, you give yourself an opportunity because you're 2 games back. So if you win that next matchup, even if your records are the same, you would have the outlying tiebreaker. But
hmm
you got to be flawless down the stretch. There's 3 games left. You would have to be flawless starting with this week against Dallas. But there is an opportunity. But I think the Chargers deserve a lot of credit. The Chargers won't get the recognition that a lot of larger market teams will get. But when you consider the injuries, and I said this here on this platform, when you guys lost Rashawn Slater to start the year, I was like, all right, this could be a little bit of a problem, right? You're
hmm
losing one of the better left tackles in all of football. It causes you to move things around. And as you highlighted, all right, cool. But they had Joe Alt to fill in that spot. Joe Alt played well, then Joe Alt goes down. So
Yeah,
now you're missing your bookend tackles pretty much from the second half of the season on because Joe Alt has been out for at least, 4 weeks at this point. So
longer than that. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So pretty much you've gone the whole season without your left tackle. You've gone half the season without your what was supposed to be your starting right tackle, along with different guys in and out of the lineup. Herbert playing with a broken hand. To get to 10 wins, I think it's really gutty of this team. Maybe this team is turning the corner. Maybe they've grown a little bit in learning how to just figure out ways to win. Because the defense was lights out on Sunday. You guys were down 13-3 from that point on. You only gave up a field goal, I believe, the rest of the game.
yeah, yeah. The defense has been flying around, led by Derwin James in that defensive backfield. Man, they are. I mean, in that secondary, they fly around the ball. He's not the only guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's playmakers on the defense. And I love old man Jefferson back there at safety, who retired, took 2 years, was out the league 2 years, came back with us, and been making an impact on the defensive side of the ball. I'm real proud of this team where they are. I mean, this last stretch is going to determine everything.
Right.
And week 18, we see Denver. I think that could be for the division. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, unless Denver, like I said, Denver holds the keys right now. They're up 2 in
Yeah.
the win loss column. Um, if they find a way starting this week, win this week, They still maintain a 2-game lead, but again, you have that opportunity that if you win out, you could win the division, and that could change everything. Because right now, Denver's in the driver's seat for the #1 seed.
Yeah,
So
and also and also another thing about this Chargers team showing their resiliency. You mentioned the injuries up and down the offensive line. We also played most of the season without our RB1 and RB2. We went into the season thinking we were going to have a two-headed monster at running back
correct,
with the rookie Omari Hampton, and with who was an Iron Man up to this point in Najee Harris, who never missed a game.
right.
And then as soon as he comes to LA, he gets hurt and never missed a game. Now he's out for the season immediately. Omari Hampton out in week 5. We hadn't had him since week 5 till recently, playing with practice squad running backs and still being able to find ways to win football games is something that I think that no matter how their season goes, they'll be able to look back and build on.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is like when you find ways to win that way, you go into the playoffs with a different level of confidence. Now you're not worried about, hey, if we fall behind early. You're not worried about if things aren't going your way in the first half of games, right? Because
Right.
you've built up this confidence of knowing we've been able to overcome adversity on the road. We've been able to overcome deficits. And this isn't the first time, like I said, the Chiefs game is going to be the one that's most highlighted because that put the Chiefs season to bed. But this isn't the first time that the Chargers have had to go on the road and play a tough game and find a way to win that game. So I think they got to be a lot of credit. Like I said, beating the Broncos. The Broncos, their 2 losses this year have both been on last-second field goals. One of those, again, is the Chargers finding a way to beat them late. So the Chargers have shown a lot of resiliency, and maybe this is the Chargers turning the corner as a team. Shout out to the comment section. The comment section is buzzing. As always, guys, make sure you are locked in with us normally every Wednesday night. Tonight we did Thursday night, but normally Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Subscribe to the podcast, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Shout out to Kyrie. He says, should Burrow force his way out of Cincinnati? Joe Burrow's hinted at some things. Obviously, he doesn't sound too happy there. What do you think, Will? Should he force his way out?
Yes. And I say yes because he's dying in Cincinnati. All they did was do what he wanted, though, because he wanted them to spend a lot of money on those skill position guys so that he'd have his weapons. So it's kind of like, well, if you wanted T. Higgins to stay and get wide receiver 1 money, if you know what I'm saying, you got Jamar Chase out there, and you wanted to bring back Mike Gesicki and got like. It's not a lot of money to spend on the offensive line when you're spending so much on those guys. But how have they drafted as well? You know what I mean? Like have they drafted to protect Joe Burrow? And the answer is no to that. You know,
Yeah.
He can't stay upright. Even when he's healthy, he's not. And it's all. I feel like he's starting to get a little punch drunk out there. No, he's not showing the true signs of somebody that's, scared to get hit. But I can see he's looking out the corner of his eye while he's in that pocket. He doesn't look as comfortable as he used to at all. And you can't blame him. You can't blame him for that. What is the ceiling for his career in Cincinnati if they're not going to do the things necessary to keep him healthy, to protect him? He's in year what? He's been in the league for a while now. What's it like, year 8, 7?
This got to be year either 6 or 7 because him, Tua, and Jay Herbo all came in together.
Okay, yeah. So you're right.
So it's either like year 6 or year 7.
So he's been to a Super Bowl, and you can say he dragged that team to the Super Bowl on his arm. But what have you done for us lately? And that was a long time ago, that Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
4 years ago.
And there are going to be some teams that have a need at. Well, there's always teams that have a need at quarterback, but there are places that I think he can go next year and win immediately. San Francisco. I think he could go to San Francisco and win immediately. I think Minnesota reunite him with.
Minnesota. I was going to say Minnesota's a very interesting one.
Yeah,
It's
you
Justin
reunite
Jefferson.
him with Justin Jefferson. There was another. If Matthew Stafford decides to walk away after this season, pair him with Sean McVay in Los Angeles. That's another place. I mean, there's a lot of attractive destinations if he wants to actually force his way out, have a change of scenery and an opportunity to win at the same time. I think there are some places. That's just to name three off the top of my head. There are places that he would be able to go. It's just is Cincinnati willing to do that, and how far is he willing to go as far as forcing his way out? Is he willing to pull a Carson Palmer? You know what I mean? Like we've kind of seen this in Cincinnati before.
And I mean, every team would love to have him. Let's not act like, a guy who can consistently throw for 4,500 yards. Last year, if they would have been a competitive team, he would have been in the MVP race. So he's put up numbers. He's had some success. Like you mentioned, he went to a Super Bowl. They went to an AFC Championship game. So they had some success when not only he was healthy, but the team as a whole was healthy. The real question is, what is it going to take to get him? Because I just feel like the league is in a place now where a lot of these GMs are smarter. A lot of these GMs ain't going to give up much. Not to say they don't want Joe Burrow, but is there somebody giving up 3 first-round picks for Joe Burrow? Probably not. Like, that's not how you build your team in the modern NFL anymore. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the Bengals got in trouble, like you said. The Bengals, they had a lot of success on offense. But with that success, you had to pay Jamar Chase. You had to pay T. Higgins. And now you're looking at a team that's top-heavy, that's built incorrectly, because now there's no assets for the defense. There's no way of building the roster the right way. The running game is lacking. The offensive line is terrible. You know what I'm saying? The defense can't get a stop. I think they've given up 30-plus points. I think it's something like 8 of their last 10 games. You know what I'm saying? So any team that trades for Joe Burrow now, that's kind of the pathway you would take, because not only the amount of money he makes, but the draft capital you're going to have to give up for him is like, we can't really improve anything else on this roster. We're gonna be with the same team that you kind of had in Cincinnati, and I think that's going to be the struggle for him. Can he force his way out? Should he force his way out? Absolutely. But as you mentioned, if he goes, let's say, if he goes to Minnesota and Minnesota makes no other moves, but they get Joe Burrow, does that elevate them to the top of the NFC? Because I don't think that would make them better than the Rams. I don't think that makes them better than Philly. I don't know if it even makes them better than Green Bay or Detroit, because those teams are far more well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
So on paper and on Madden, it sounds great. Oh, we got Joe Burrow, we got Justin Jefferson, but you still ain't got much of a running game. You still ain't got much of an O-line, right? Like, you don't have the rest that you need. So I think he's going to probably have to thug it out for another year or two and either hope they build it up or get himself to a point where it's like, when I get traded, I can get to a spot that only needs me, as opposed to me getting there and then you still need more. One of the trades that I heard that was pretty interesting is, if you are the New York Giants or the New York Jets, do you go all in? Let's say if you're the Giants, would you be willing to give up Jackson Dart and a future first-round pick to get Joe Burrow?
Ooh. I think you got to do that.
Right. I think that's a situation that if you're the Giants, you do it, because you got your running back already. You got your receiver already. And you got some young pieces on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the Jets, you got 2 first-round picks in this year's draft, 2 first-round picks in next year's draft. Would you be willing to trade a first-round in each draft to get Joe Burrow? And they're in another situation. They got Breece Hall. They got Garrett Wilson. They got, they still got a couple pieces on defense. Would they be willing to make that type of move? Now, I don't think if he gets to either one of those, that doesn't make them the class of the NFC. It's still the same conversation. If he goes to the Giants, I think it's a nice fit because of the weapons they already have there. But does that make them better than Philly? Probably not better than Philly. It probably just makes them a playoff team, though. But the division as a whole isn't that great because Dallas isn't that good, and we know the Commanders aren't that good. So maybe it's a better situation for him. He goes to the Jets, they still probably the 3rd best team in the division because they're not better than Buffalo, and we see New England is an up-and-coming team at this point.
That would be a hell of a battle every twice a year. Joe
Yeah.
Burrow and Josh Allen.
Burrow and Allen, Burrow and May. You know
Burrow,
what I'm saying?
yeah, May, yep.
You know, and then Tua could watch. Tua could watch all the games. He'll have a lot of free time to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, he
I know you
got put
heard
on
Will.
2-week notice for real, huh?
I was saying that as you were getting prepared for the live. We coined that phrase 2 years ago. Mike McDaniel said, "You know what? Them dudes is right, man. Get them on the bench." Yo,
I was surprised by that. I was
shout out to
surprised by that.
Kyrie. Kyrie wants to get your thoughts on this. I know Tripp and I talked about this on Monday, but Kyrie wants to know. We got to get Will Gordon's overall thoughts on Sharon Moore drama in Michigan, in Ann Arbor.
Man, that dude is a gump. I can't believe I can't believe that's how dudes move out here these days, man. Like, where do I begin? First of all, if you're gonna be all right, nothing against that young lady, but if you're gonna creep, dog, you gotta creep a little bit more up and on the low. If you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying. First of all, don't you making lateral moves. As far as from what I can see, from what I can see, you making lateral moves, and then
If the picture I seen of his wife is correct, it probably was like a slight upgrade.
Slight at best.
The home team didn't have home field advantage, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. but that aside, everybody. I mean, I'm not even mad at you for cheating on your wife or whatever. I mean, that's been happening forever and ever. It's going to keep happening. But it's the aftermath. It's the crash out afterwards. It's the threatening to take your own life and hers. It's the right after it happens, going to her crib, like, bro, like you supposed to, you're just gonna go ahead and tell it, make sure everybody know that it's true because of the way you acted. It's the ending up in jail over this. It's the fumbling in the bag. It's you were the first black head coach in the history of the University of Michigan, and you're probably going to be the last now. You know what I'm saying? Grand opening, grand closing.
Yep.
And now, like, and people I've heard people say that, you know, maybe this isn't going to set back the hiring of black head coaches. Bullshit. Yeah, it is. And it's not the cheating part. It's the afterwards. It's what you did after. Because
I agree.
Urban Meyer is on TV every week, right?
Yep.
He was wrist deep in some chick's ass at a bar.
Photo proof.
Yes, in front of everybody.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That man was married. Yep. Wasn't he married?
Absolutely. He sent the team. He sent the team back to Jacksonville.
Home. Yeah.
And stood an extra night.
Yeah, we see why.
So he can hang out.
But you know what? He's still hireable in the eyes of many. Yep. You are now unhireable.
Oh, 1,000%.
You are unhireable. You're not going to coach college football ever again. At any level of college football, you might go to
not Division I.
No, I don't even think Division II. He might get last chance.
He might get a Division II program that just really wants to be able to pick his brain and have him come in. But in terms of head coaching, no, he'll probably come in as a coordinator.
See, yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. In Division I?
No, Division II.
Oh,
yeah, not Division I. Not Division I. It's over.
Now I can see Netflix working it out so where he could be the head coach for Last Chance U.
Maybe.
And it'd be a whole new season or whatever.
I said Monday that I think people were missing all the layers to this story. And I'm glad you said what you said, because so often you and myself and Tripp, we've talked about the lack of opportunities for black and brown coaches. right? How somehow when it comes to black and brown coaches, there's all these other hurdles that they got to get over that nobody else has to get over. For Sharon Moore, he basically got the blessing. He didn't even have to interview for the job because he was part of Harbaugh's staff.
Right.
He got the blessing, basically, right? Like, look, Harbaugh's moving on. You're taking over the program. On a deeper level, they were facing violations for that cheating scandal that year they won the national championship. So Sharon Moore was handed the keys to the kingdom with the expectation of not only do we think you are more than qualified to be the head coach, we feel you can now get us to that place of respectability where people take the program serious again. And within 2 years, you get caught creeping around with Shorty. And it's not just that you got caught creeping around with Shorty. You ordered a Plan B pill to the facility, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck were you thinking?
It clearly didn't work.
What? Will.
Is she pregnant, right?
Yeah, she's still pregnant. She never took the Plan B, man. She never took the Plan B. She never took the Plan B, man. So my question is, bro, like, I'm not speaking from experience. I don't want nobody to assume I'm talking about myself. I've just heard from people that when you get the Plan B, you got to make sure, you got to treat her like a child. You got to make sure she take it and show me your tongue. Show me your tongue. I need to know that the pill is gone. I don't need no surprises 6 months from now. You know what I'm saying? My man, Will, if the story is true, this is one of the most outlandish stories in sports. Not only did he order the Plan B to the facility, he didn't even meet the driver. So the driver was walking around on campus trying to deliver the Plan B.
Yeah.
Now, Will, I'm about to say it's a crude joke. I've been sipping, Will. You know, remember how we used to toast to start the show?
Oh yeah, we did. You used to have the clink clink.
We used to have the clink clink. Now, Will, you and I are old enough to know. If you don't want the side chick to have a baby, you got to use Ray Caruth playbook. You got to hire somebody. You got to hire somebody. Whoa. Will, yes, you know that already. You know that already, Will. You said Netflix is going to do a special. That's what Sharon Moore was supposed to say, yo. Hey, Ray. Ray, who you got out here in the Midwest? Who you know that's trustworthy out here in the Midwest? That's where he was supposed to go with it. But you blew the bag on top of that. You blew the bag. And then
13 mil on the table.
13 mil on the table. Then I started going down the rabbit hole on Twitter because there was a local media guy. He didn't know the context of the story, but he said, I'm hearing that Sharon Moore might get fired by the end of the week. This is like surprising news. Nobody knows what's going on. Apparently something took place. That's all the guy was saying on Twitter. He didn't even know. At that point of view, Sharon Moore, don't you think you should have just went to your wife and like, look, before you hear from the news, I might as well tell you because the story gonna break.
Yeah.
I might as well tell you right now, and let's just go into damage control right now. Apparently, he didn't tell his wife because then that's when he goes home and threatens to kill himself and then goes to the side chick house. So what you thought the story was never going to come out, that the news was never going to come out, why you were fired from Michigan? You were fired from Michigan 2 weeks before your bowl game.
And it was dudes tweeting that they knew why.
That's what I'm saying. When the tweets first started coming out, first people were saying there's reports he might be fired, but more details to come. Then slowly the news started leaking like, hey, there's rumors of an inappropriate relationship. Then all the other details came out. Apparently, the mistress is pregnant and he tried to order a Plan B pill on campus. So I don't know what this dude was thinking and why he didn't get in front of his paws and just say, hey, I'm not only going to tell my wife now, but let's just go into damage control. And like you said, figure this thing out. Because if I'm going to lose this job, let's not mess up the bag moving forward. I still want the opportunity to coach somewhere else. I want an opportunity to go somewhere else and still prove what I can do. Now you're never going to get that. You're done.
Yep.
It's over.
Why didn't he just run to the store, man?
So that's what I said too.
Like, just run to the store real quick. Or have somebody run to the store, one of your boys run to the store. Like this, that's just the dumbest. Like, it's like almost like it's not even real. Right. Like, you ain't that dumb, are you? Like, yep.
Apparently.
He said, yes, I am.
Yes, hold my beer.
Yeah, for real.
Shout out to Squeeze. Squeeze wants to know, more likely to go on a run in college football playoffs, Alabama or Miami? I think Alabama has the pedigree, but there's obviously a lot going on with their head coach right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami goes on a run. Carson Beck was part of the Georgia team last year. Granted, he got hurt. He didn't play well, but he was on that team that was the playoff team last year. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami goes on a little bit of run. Any thoughts on it, Will?
I don't know enough about it.
Gotcha. Shout out to Pool. Man, Will and I shared this video on social media. She said Josh Hart putting his thumb up Jalen Brunson's butt on national TV. Thoughts? Jalen reaction was like, nah, fool, not in public. It came off as a not one-time thing. So, first of all, pause. The whole situation. Pause. Secondly, these dudes obviously have a relationship dating back to college. Josh Hart always does some suspect stuff. There's plenty of clips you can see. I just don't understand why Josh Hart would even think something like that is cool. Like, what would make you think I'm gonna play around like I'm putting my thumb up his butt on national TV as we celebrating the Cup? What would make you think that was cool?
That ain't cool nowhere.
Right, nowhere. But I'm saying, especially in that moment. No, but I'm saying, especially in that moment. Like, why would you think in that moment I'm gonna play around like this?
Man, these young dudes. I don't know if it's. It came across as real familiar. So I mean, for the way between the two of them is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not familiar to me, but it looked like you don't just do that if you ain't done it before.
Well, I know for a fact. Like I said, there's plenty of clips because they have their podcast together, the roommates, where he's always saying some suspect shit on a podcast to the point where Jalen Brunson was like, yo, what the fuck, bro? Like, he's always saying some suspect shit.
So he like, is he when Jalen responds, is he like, what the fuck? Like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Or what the fuck not in front of company?
No, it's almost like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it seems to me that it's one of the things that is like, because they college buddies, I don't know if maybe there's a certain comfort level where he's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with him in this way, but still, like, I don't get it because I ain't never joked around with my friends in that way. So
hell no.
I would never let my friends joke around with me in that way.
Hell no. I don't like when I see that, it's something I completely don't understand. Like that, like the only, like, to me, the only logical reaction that Jalen Brunson should have had was knocking him the fuck out right there. Like a nigga sticking thumb up my ass.
He wasn't gonna do it. Yeah, but he wasn't gonna do it in that moment.
Like that's my, like, you know how he jumped. Now is his reaction.
Right.
My reaction is swing.
You would have hooked off. Yeah.
My reaction is somebody's head coming off. Boom.
You would have hooked off on him, and they're like, yo, what the fuck?
Exactly. People react different ways.
Right. But yeah, the shit was whack.
And I'm gonna be using that against your Knicks all season. By the way,
listen, you have every right to. I'm not even gonna lie, man, because that shit, I don't know what Josh Hart was thinking. I don't know why he thought that shit was cool. I don't even know. Like I said, what would make you even think like that's some cool shit to do?
And now you dividing the locker room because now you're gonna have Cat jealous.
Yo, easy, bro. Come on, man. Easy.
After all that, I don't get the thumb in the ass.
Listen, y'all talking about the wrong things, man. Shout out to Pooh. She wants to know, and biggest takeaway from the NBA Cup final.
That was.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
on the court though, I'm gonna say the biggest takeaway. I felt this way watching the game, and I was gonna text you this, Will, but I was gonna wait to the end of the game because I wanted to just see like if they could sustain it. I think the San Antonio Spurs are a real problem in the West.
Yeah, man.
I watched that game, and if really not for two things changed that fourth quarter. The Knicks bench, because Kolick and Clarkson played really well in the fourth quarter. And Mitchell Robinson was a beast on the boards. But the Spurs got cold shooting in that fourth. I don't know if the pressure of the moment or maybe just the fact that the Knicks kept getting second chance points kind of demoralized them. But the real athleticism and the defense of the Spurs, like watching Stephon Castle pretty much pick up Jalen Brunson 3/4 court all game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then it's like there is no switches. There isn't. Every NBA team hunts out pick and roll switches, and like I'm gonna get on this guy. Well, who you switching to? Because you damn sure don't want Wemby to come out there and guard you. Right. Dylan Harper's a good defensive player. Fox is a defensive player. Sells like all these guys are good defensive players. As I'm watching that game, I'm like, yo, the Spurs might be a problem come playoff time. When they get a full season under their belt together, this might be one of those dark horse teams that when playoffs come around, nobody's going to want to play them because of how good they can play defense. And then they got the ultimate X factor because on any moment, Wemby could go off. You saw first half against the Knicks, he had 4 points. Third quarter alone, he had 16 points. He can take over games at a crazy level at this point in his career. So to me, that's the biggest takeaway. I think the Spurs are a really good team and really legit in the West.
Yeah. When I watch the Spurs play, I can't help but wish and wonder what it would be like if Pop was coaching that team.
Yeah.
Because that's when they really be an issue. I mean, not like the last couple years, Pop, but like 10 years ago, Graham Popovich, man, he would have had a field day with that squad. Especially because it's not just the young guys. They got a nice little mix. They got just enough veteran leadership there too. You know what I mean? They
got. So I think, and I said this on Monday's show, I'm not a big fan of their depth because I feel like they are really a team that's probably about 60 pause. Right? If they can find another shooter off their bench, doesn't have to be a playmaker, but just another shooter, then I think they could be a scary team because I like the mix. As Wemby gets healthier, Luke Kornet's going to be coming off your bench for about 15 minutes a night, but Luke Kornet is really a stretch five. But with him, Harrison Barnes, if they can find another veteran shooter off their bench, I think that could really make them scary. Because you look at, like I said, you look at how they played that game. Second half of that, it was really that they were relying on 6 guys, and once they went cold, they didn't have another answer. They didn't have anybody who they could just bring in for some instant offense.
I love Harrison Barnes' role, the role he's in on that team.
I do too.
They play the Wizards tonight. So line is 15.5.
It's a crazy.
They're gonna cover that easy. They're gonna cover that easy. They're gonna cover that easy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a crazy line. But I just think to me, like the takeaway, from Knicks fan perspective, I'm happy we won. But watching the Spurs the whole game, I'm like, yo, this team is gonna be super tough, bro. They're gonna be tough. And looking at the West, I mean, we know OKC is the cream of the crop. Yes, the Spurs beat them in that semifinal game. I don't think the Spurs can beat them in a series. But looking at the rest of the West, if Houston don't get a point guard, that is a very interesting matchup if they got to play the Spurs. Because the way, like I said, the way they can have on-ball pressure and you can't really switch off of a guy. It's not like other teams who have that one guy that can defend on the perimeter. And you're like, all right, just get him off and switch over. Like, no, you're switching off to another elite defender. They're going to be a problem, bro. That was my major takeaway.
Yeah.
Ron Rock got a college football question. Alabama at Oklahoma tomorrow. Who wins? I'm gonna take Alabama to win, but I'm not like 100% confident in Alabama. I'm just, like I said, I'm gonna go with Alabama. I think their defense is a little better.
Oklahoma beat them once this year, right?
They did beat them earlier this year.
Give me Oklahoma.
There we go. Ron also wants to know which team needs to win the NFC North more. So right now, we got the big game on Saturday, Green Bay and Chicago. Detroit is fighting for their playoff lives. So we're going to assume this question is really about Green Bay and Chicago. Who needs the North more, in your opinion, Will?
Green Bay, I think, because this is for real. This is a house money year for the Bears to me.
Yeah.
And year 1 with Ben Johnson, year 2 with Caleb Williams, which really could be looked at year 1 for him after coming in as a rookie, being coached by Eberflus. It's almost like you when you came in the league, you were immediately pushed backwards with that situation. So I mean, a new offense. I don't think they need to win the division right now. They weren't expected to win the division.
Correct.
Now, when you look at Green Bay, you got Jordan Love who needs to turn that corner. And that's what they're waiting on in Green Bay. You got a team that pretty much these guys have been there. You know what I'm saying? We've been running it back with this same squad, and now you add a Micah Parsons who's out for the season now, but you add a guy like you're making Super Bowl aspiring moves, and that's what you thought you had. So
right,
you need to show improved. If you are who you thought you were, then you need to win this game on Saturday, because if you let Ben Johnson come in there year one with that team that we saw last season, and now can elevate them to the point where they're winning the division, what are you doing in Green Bay? Because now if you let the Bears leapfrog you, Detroit's still there, and now you're giving Minnesota time to regroup. So now where does that put you going forward? This is a huge game for Green Bay. They got to win this game.
I think this is a major game for Green Bay, and I agree with everything you said. Green Bay made moves this year to position themselves as a Super Bowl contender, right? Chicago, this is only year 2 of Caleb. This is year 1 of Ben Johnson. But I think when you look at the rest of that Bears team, this is still a very young team.
Mm-hmm.
So to your point of like playing with house money, it's one of those things that at this point, this is just all about experience. If the Bears go into playoffs and lose in the first round, there won't be any disappointment in Chicago. In fact, people will be happy that this team made the playoffs and had a good season. They've already won 10 games. They've exceeded what the start of the season projection was, right? They win the division. All you're doing now is giving them more confidence and more to build on moving forward, because as long as Caleb continues to develop and he's on that rookie deal, it makes it easy to keep going and get the pieces that can make you better. The Packers on the flip side of that, Jordan Love already got his big contract. Your major trade was Micah Parsons, right? Now you got Josh Jacobs who's injured. You got Christian Watson who's injured. You're a banged up team. You lose this week. Not only do I think you not win the division, now you run the risk of, if we don't win these last 2 weeks, we might not even make the playoffs. And that becomes a major failure if you're the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Everything was positioned to win this year. At the start of the season, after they made the Micah Parsons trade, they had the second best odds, according to Vegas, to come out of the NFC. And now they're fighting for a division. If they lose this weekend, they might be fighting for their playoff lives. So it, without a doubt, has to be the Packers. They needed more.
And if you don't make the playoffs and go into next year's draft without a first round pick because you gave it up for Micah, that's not a good look.
Now you're talking about a pick that's probably top 20 now.
Yep, going to Dallas.
Right. So now, and that leads back. I said this, when I text you.
Yep.
When Michael went down, so it looked like Jerry wanted to trade them.
Yep. That's how it's looking right now.
Because without Micah, I don't think the Packers can win the Super Bowl without Micah Parsons. He was brought in to be your premier pass rusher.
He was your Reggie.
He was brought in to be the piece that gets you over the top. So now you don't have Micah. Christian Watson gets hurt last week. Josh Jacobs been hurt for a couple of weeks now. It's crazy to think, like I said, they might. Right now, they got Chicago this week. They got Baltimore next week. Both those teams they need wins. Green Bay could find themselves week 18 at Minnesota needing a win just to make the playoffs. Squeeze wants to know who will play in the college football national championship. I haven't watched college football closely enough this year. I'm going to say, just looking at the brackets, though, I'm going to say it's Ohio State versus – I'm going to say Ohio State and Indiana, a rematch of the Big Ten championship.
I love that. I would love it.
I'm going to go that route. But like I said, I didn't watch college football closely enough to give you any in-depth analysis on it. I'm just those are the two teams I'm gonna go with. And
I watch the little teams. You know how how to throw them in the parlays become
some of the mid majors.
Right.
Kyrie says Patrick Mahomes tears ACL's Chiefs officially eliminated from playoff. Yep, as we started the show, saying Will Gordon actually just flew back home from the funeral service. He went to make sure the Chiefs were dead.
Out of here.
Kyrie also said Arch Manning returning to Texas in 2026. Yeah, I think that's the right move for Arch. He didn't have a great year. Also, I think what we lost sight of, like a lot of people were projecting, oh, Arch Manning's going to be number 1 pick. Peyton did all 4 years of college. Eli did all 4 years of college. The Manning family has plenty of money. Arch Manning is in no rush to leave Texas University. You know, he's not in a position that a lot of these other young men are in, where it's like, all right, I gotta get to that next level. Arch is chilling.
He's fine.
He's doing very well for himself. Pooh said, did you all see the comments Byron Scott said about Kevin Durant ring chasing?
I didn't.
I did not.
What did he say, Pooh? Follow up.
Pooh, give us a little more insight on that, because I didn't see those comments. D'Angelo says, where do you all have Jalen Brunson in the MVP race, and how y'all feel about Knicks not putting the cup banner up in MSG? I'm going to start with the second part of that question. I'm more than fine that the Knicks are not raising a banner for the cup championship. One, it's a midseason tournament. It's not an NBA championship. There's no reason to have a ceremony and raise a banner. So I'm fine that the Knicks are not doing it. I also think it's very ironic that some people are mad that they're not raising a banner when we criticize the Lakers and the Bucks for raising a banner. We criticize those teams for doing it because we all acknowledge that the cup doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. 20 years from now, ain't nobody going to say, hey, who won the NBA Cup in 2025, Will? Nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
So I think
I would have clowned y'all for putting it up.
I would have too. I agree. I would have clowned it too.
I would have clowned y'all for putting it up, just to be honest.
I would have too, because you and I, we were doing lives when the Lakers did it, and we clowned the Lakers. Like, why the hell are you putting up, especially the Lakers, an organization that's won that many championships?
The Lakers.
You won that many championships, you're going to raise an in-season tournament?
Yeah, that's hogwash.
Yeah, come on. So I'm cool with that. In terms of where's Jalen Brunson in the MVP race, I still think my order's the same. I think Shea's number 1, Joker's number 2, Luka's number 3 right now, currently in the MVP race. If you want to put Jalen Brunson in that range of 4 or 5, that's fine. But I don't think he's close enough to the top 3 guys. So to me, the MVP race is really only about 3 guys right now. Like I said, Shea, Joker, and Luka.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, and the fact that he's mentioned, I think, is good enough. You know, the fact that he's in the conversation is good enough.
I agree. I mean, he's getting his recognition. He's going to be an all-star again. But, I mean, come on, let's be real. And this is coming from a Knicks fan. He's not on the level of Shea, Joker, and Luka. So it's like, to even put him above them guys would be fucking disrespectful. That's what I'm saying.
Him being mentioned is pretty commendable for him for who he is as a player.
Him getting the recognition is cool, but should he be above them? Hell no. D'Angelo, I'm gonna get to your next question, but let's get to this one first from Kyrie. Cam Ward wants role in Texans head coaching search. Should he be included, Will?
No. Flat out. Why? You know what I mean? Are you Tom Brady? Are you Aaron Rodgers? Are you know what I'm saying? Are you you're a rookie? You still trying to find your way, and you think you should be able to pick the head coach or have a say? Basically, you're saying you should be able to pick because saying having a role is not just giving your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You pretty much trying to saying you should be able to pick who coaches. Nah, we don't do that. This ain't AAU. You know what I'm saying? This ain't travel ball. This is the big boy league. This is NFL. Right. And you ain't done shit in this league to even what even makes you think you should have a voice in that? Just because you were the number 1 pick? That don't mean shit.
I agree.
Like the audacity. I didn't even know this was a thing till the question just came up. I didn't even know he asked. He thought that.
He did.
I didn't know that.
He asked, and when I saw the news alert from ESPN that his words were, I think I should have some input on the next coach, I laughed because I remember, as a Colts fan, after year 1 with Peyton Manning and Jim Mora, when they started their coaching search and they ended up bringing in Tony Dungy. Peyton didn't have any say-so in that, right? And Tony Dungy, Hall of Fame coach, but Tony Dungy was known for his defense. The Colts didn't say, all right, we're going to go get a coach that Peyton Manning wants. They said, no, we're going to get the best coach for the organization. And that's the way the Titans got to approach it. Last time I checked, the Titans are fucking trash.
Yeah.
Why should we cater to the wants of our rookie quarterback when we got a lot of other areas on this team that need to be upgraded and need to get better? Drake May last year. Drake May was a rookie quarterback. The Patriots struggled. Did they ask him who he wanted as his coach? No, they said, no, we're going to go get Mike Vrabel because he's the best coach for this spot. Also, another defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah.
Right? You go get the best coach for your team and what you're trying to build. You don't say, oh, because our rookie quarterback. No, that's not how it works. And I'm sorry. Cam Ward, you shouldn't have input. You haven't done enough in the league to deserve input
at all
on who your head coach is. Not after 1 year in the NFL. Also from Kyrie, did y'all see the fan that emailed the Warriors owner and he responded and the dude screenshot the email and the others sent me through shade? Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy. That was a crazy story. So a fan sent an email to Joe Lacob and he said, as a fan, I'm frustrated watching this team. He said, basically in short, he said, it's frustrating watching this team. You guys need to upgrade the talent on his team around Curry and Jimmy Butler. And you need to find a way to utilize Jimmy Butler better. You guys are wasting his talent. That's what he said. Okay. And Joe Lacob responded and said, trust me, we're frustrated as well. And then he goes on to say, from coaching to scouting to player development, everything needs to get better. So basically threw Kerr under the bus a little bit. Then at the press conference, kind of walked it back and was like, oh, we didn't mean Kerr specifically. We meant coaching staff as a whole needs to be better. Kerr handled it like a professional. Kerr was like, listen, we all feel the same way. We all feel it's been a disappointment so far. Kerr claimed he didn't take it personal. But I thought it was corny. One is corny to own a, what the fuck are you responding to a fan's email for? And then the fan took the email and screenshotted it and posted it on Reddit so everybody could see what the owner said. But this is the world we live in.
Well, the first part, I got a response from Ted Leonsis when he bought the team, when he bought the Wizards and the Capitals and all that. I did get a response from an email.
What was your email you sent to him and what was his response?
My email was, it was more so, it was pretty long, but it was more so saying that I was trying to get the colors changed back to red, white, and blue.
Back to the Bullets joints.
Yeah, because we were still in the and it was still the Gilbert era. Like that color jersey, the white with the blue, like that tealish, and the gold trim. Yeah. So I said I ended my complaints about the organization and how it's been ran by Ernie Grunfeld at the time with that they could at least go back to the red, white, and blue jerseys like every other team in Washington at the time. And I was like, and we're the nation's capital, the flags red, white, and blue. We used to be red, white, and blue. We need to go back to the colors. And he responded, thanks for, it was paraphrasing. I need to try to find it. He was like, thanks for your passion. We want to concentrate on putting the winning product on the court first. Keep cheering loudly or something like that. But that was it. But he didn't go into, well, yeah, Ernie's trash, and right. or anything like that. But I'm cool with him. I'm cool with him responding to a fan. I'm cool with him responding to a fan for the first part. So, but the way, if that's all he said, I don't really see it in his throwing everybody under the bus.
It is though, because that's no different than if a fan had said to Kerr, yo, y'all need to do better. The talent that's on the court isn't good enough to win a championship. And then Kerr said, hey, we're all frustrated with ownership in the front office as well. We all want better talent. You're throwing a jab at those that sign the checks. So when the owner says from coaching to player development, that needs to be better, you're throwing a jab at Kerr specifically, even though you're not saying Kerr's name. But when you say coaching, what do people associate that with? The head coach. They're not thinking about the assistant coach. They think about the head coach. And to your point, with Ted responding to you, right, that's an appropriate response because he's responding to someone, like you said, who's passionate about the organization, but he's not throwing nobody under the bus. He's telling you, this is what we're trying to do, and we appreciate, your energy and what you're bringing to our organization. He's not saying, well, we would go back to red, white, and blue, but the GM thinks it's a stupid fucking idea.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was crazy. It was his opening press conference. He gave his email address out in his opening press conference and said, he said, I won't say I'm reading every email. I won't respond to every email, but send me your thoughts. And so I did. And it was that night I sent the email and I got the response 3 days later. And
that's dope.
And now, what color do the Wizards rock?
Yeah.
Y'all can thank me later. No, I'm just.
We got 2 more questions. Then we're gonna wrap up before kickoff tonight.
We doing the parlay?
Yeah, we're gonna do the parlay as well. But let's answer these 2 questions, and I'm gonna check over on Instagram, make sure we don't got none on Instagram as well. Shout out to everybody. I see people that's tuning in on Instagram as well. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the podcast. We will be back live. I'm not gonna make no promises. Will and I will talk because next Wednesday is Christmas Eve. We both got families, so we'll figure out if we're gonna be live next week. If not, we'll keep you guys posted. But make sure you subscribe to the Sanchez Show. We're normally live on Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Shoot us a like, shoot us a comment, and then on Monday I'll be back with Trip Young for our weekly recap on Real Fans Real Talk. Ron wants to know. Penny Hardaway says the NBA nowadays is unwatchable. You all agree to some extent. We agree to a large extent. Pause. But I'm gonna let Will go first.
Yeah. The only reason I watch the NBA now, especially during the regular season, well, this year is kind of unique with the new broadcast, and I think we spoke on it a couple of weeks ago with the new different ways that the NBA is being broadcast in the different formats, the different platforms, and the new era of the guys that are covering it. It's like the guys we all watched. It's like almost like our peers, Now they're covering the game. That's what's made me watch basketball right now, and of course gambling. Yeah. But other than that, I've been saying it me and Eric have been saying it for years. The NBA is as a product is trash. Yeah. And we've said it ad nauseum. I don't want to see 63s in a game. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see 3-on-1 fast breaks where your wings are running to the corner instead of attacking the basket. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see offensive sets where there's nobody with a foot in the paint. We're not even a foot in the paint. I don't want to see that. That's not basketball to me. It's basically what they playing in the NBA right now is competitive horse. You know what I mean? It's like team horse right now.
Yeah.
Because it's not basketball. It's see if you can make this shot from this spot. It's not like the nuances of what basketball is as a game is not being utilized, it's not being taught. I think that's one of the most important things. It's not being taught, it's not being practiced. And I mean, I'm gonna sound like an old man, but it is what it is. It's if you watch it with 2 eyes, you can't say this any different from what I'm saying.
No.
And it's, to me, if you want to, like, to me right now, the NBA should be on Nickelodeon. They put it on all these platforms. It needs to be on Nickelodeon. It needs to be on Disney Plus because it's for children to me. And if you go to a youth basketball game now, it might as well be an NBA game because all this is going to be somebody come up, somebody might have a little slick handle. It's always that one kid that's got a slick handle. He might go off, but if you ain't got that kid, it's just a bunch of kids just shooting jumpers, and that's what the NBA is turned into. It's a bunch of kids shooting jumpers, And that's boring to me. That's boring as hell. Like, I watched the game. I don't even remember what teams it was, but I saw and I counted. I was watching it with a friend of mine that doesn't know basketball. I counted back and forth. They took 11 trips back and forth, all jumpers, all either threes or right inside the 3-point line. There was nobody with their back to the basket. Nobody attacking the basket. There was no, like, I can't remember the last time somebody went to the paint and got put on their ass. Like, it's just not basketball to me. It's kids basketball. It's youth leagues type shit. That's what it is. It's grown men playing youth league ball.
It's become unwatchable for a number of reasons. One, there's very little skill that's being taught. And when I say skill, I'm not talking about, oh, he got a crazy handle. I'm talking about understanding of the game, being able to cut, understanding how to play off ball.
Yep.
That's the skill I'm talking about. Understanding, having a high enough IQ to understand what to do in situations. There are too many guys, even in the NBA level, but we see it in the college level, we see it at lower level. Guys aren't being taught how to handle situational basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And this really is a byproduct of AAU. And I've heard other people at a high level even say it. The NBA now is glorified AAU basketball. It's just run up and down the court, a lot of isolation, a lot of jump shots, right? A lot of foul baiting, hoping to get to the free throw line. And it's very little skill. That's why when you look at the game now and you talked about it, not only tonight, but you said it before, you throw in an old game 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Oh, man, it looks so different.
Right. Guys moving away from the basketball, off-ball movement. Guys understanding what to do after setting a pick. Guys understanding how to actually fill the lane and run the lane on a fast break. Now, guys run a break, and you got 7-footers that are stop at the 3-point line.
That's what I'm saying. They can't be running figure eights no more.
No.
Because that was the first thing you did in practice. That's how you open practice.
Right.
They can't do that now.
The figure eights and the 2-man shuttle chest pass down the court, finishing with a layup. Right off the rip. Like, you got to understand spacing on the court and then finishing around the basket. A lot is not there, it's not taught. And I do agree that the NBA is unwatchable. And I think what's happened to the NBA, and it's unfortunate because there's a lot of talent in the NBA. But what's happening with the NBA right now is what's happened to Major League Baseball, where it's becoming regional, where people are only paying attention to their team because the product isn't good enough to want to really watch other teams. You're not tuning in to watch the Pelicans or the Trailblazers or the Magic play because it all looks the same. Every night looks the same. It's going to be 45 3-pointers jacked up. It's going to be another 30 free throws. You're not seeing anything unique. I remember, you know this, Will, early 2000s, like when Nash was doing what he was doing with the Suns. That was must-see TV because that was basketball. Sacramento Kings of the early 2000s, the ball movement, the passing. That was exciting basketball to watch where it's like, yo, I'm not even a fan of the Kings, but I just want to see Bibby tonight. I want to see Bibby and C Webb. Yeah, Bibby and C Webb and Flotty, because you're going to see about 5 or 6 highlight passes tonight.
And even a little later, you can say Lob City.
Lob City. But, man, when we got into this, and I don't want to just blame it on him because I know that's where the conversation is going to sound like it's going. But when we got into this Big Three era back in 2010, we're not going to say his name, but you know who I'm talking about, Will.
I was already trying not to bring up that.
I know, but when
the fact that he left, it's his problem that
when we got to that,
supposed to be in. Mm-hmm.
It truly turned into AAU basketball because then it was just like how many stars can you have on the court and how many guys could just go ISO. That's what it turned into.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate because even thinking back since 2010, I can't think of a team. Now, granted, San Antonio has some good teams with Duncan and Park and Ginobili.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this OKC team I think is really, really good. Like, they're fun to watch. Not only are they good, but they're fun to watch. But we could do a list really, and we might only be able to name 4 or 5 teams over the last 15 years that are like, yo, I like watching that team play basketball. because most of these teams all look the same. It's all the same product. The difference is if you got enough star power, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
That's really what it's come down to. Ron wants to know, this is perfect timing for this question because the game is about to start, and then we're going to do the parlay. Who will win tonight's showdown for number 1 seed? Seahawks, Rams, both 11-3. The Rams won the first matchup. Obviously, the winner tonight not only has control of the division, but has control of the number 1 seed in the NFC. Will, give me your prediction.
I was kind of surprised that Seattle's the favorite in this game. I took the Rams. Even though I know they downed a couple guys on offense, I just don't believe in Seattle. I haven't they win football games, yeah, but I'm not impressed by them at all. I think they take weeks off, and I know they're at home, and I know it's in prime time, but Matt Stafford's been playing MVP level football all season long, and Sam Darnold has not. Seattle does have some weapons. I just don't believe in them. I'm like a game like tonight. I think it's going to come down to coaching, and I think I'm going to lean more in the direction of Sean McVay when it comes to situational X's and O's in a close football game, which I think this is going to be. So I'm going to lean towards the Rams.
I agree. Seattle, I think, is getting a little bit of a push because they're at home. But ironically, under Mike McDonald, they've actually been a better team on the road than at home. And I think that showed last week when they played the Colts. It took a last-second field goal to win a game that against a 44-year-old quarterback who had not played in 5 years. They should have been better. But I like the Rams tonight for a number of reasons. I think Matthew Stafford is the MVP of the league right now. I think the Rams are the most complete team in the NFC. And Sam Darnold fell apart at the end of last year. I started the live by talking about this. Remember last year, Will, when the Vikings had a chance to be the number 1 seed, and then Sam Darnold kind of fell apart the last 3 weeks of the season. They ended up going into the wild card game, and they got embarrassed in the wild card game too. Yeah, I think we're in that same situation again. I don't think he's good enough to beat this Rams team. I know Smith and Jigba is a great receiver, but outside of that, who is he going to throw to? The last time they played the Rams, he threw 4 turnovers. He threw 4 interceptions in that game. I don't think anything changes here. The coaching advantage, I think, is on the Rams side. The quarterback advantage is on the Rams side. I think the overall talent is on the Rams side. And I think the Rams are a Super Bowl contender. So if you're truly a Super Bowl contender, I think this is the game that you win. You guys are both coming in on a short week, but you know what's at stake. I like the Rams. If you want to take the 1.5, fine. I think the money line plus 102 is probably where you should go anyway, because I think the Rams win tonight. And I didn't include this in the 3-leg parlay. Puka Nacua with touchdown tonight. With no Devontae Adams, Puka is going to get a bunch of targets, so I will put him as a touchdown tonight.
Okay.
But let's get to the parlay. We're going to do a 6-leg parlay. Last week, what were we? We were 3-3 last week.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah, we were 3-3. We hit on Herbert's passing yards. We hit on A.J. Brown anytime touchdown. We hit on Pittsburgh +3. Where we lost, we had the over on the Ravens-Bengals game. The Ravens did their part. The Bengals didn't score, though.
Didn't score. What the?
We had the under on the Texans-Cardinals, and then C.J. Stroud decided to go crazy, and they dropped 40 by themselves.
Yeah.
And then I did think Seattle's defense would score a touchdown against Phillip Rivers. They did get an interception, but they never scored a touchdown. So that's We went 3-3. You want me to give you my 3 legs for the parlay, or you want to go first?
Oh, yeah, you kick it off.
All right. I'm going to go. So Cowboys-Chargers is the game that kind of caught my attention right away.
Okay.
As we mentioned, Chargers, if they win out, they get a chance to win the division. But in this game, all year I've said Cowboys take the overs. 49.5 seems a little high for me because of the way the Chargers play. The Chargers are going to play ball control offense. They're not going to let this turn into a shootout because of the injuries on the O-line and because of the injury to Jay Herbo's hand. Also, the Chargers defense is really, really good. So I think under 49.5 points is a pretty safe bet here.
I like it.
Combination of the ball control offense with the defense under 49.5 points. So I like that. My second one is on a Saturday game. Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown against the Commanders.
That's a good one.
Commanders can't stop the run. Saquon scored last week. I think the Eagles are going to try to use these last 3 games to get Saquon going before the playoffs. So I expect him to get a lot of touches, not only running, but also out of the backfield. Anytime touchdown, that's minus 125. And then this one here, I liked it even before I saw the odds. But after seeing the odds, it almost seems like Vegas is telling me that they like this as well. You got Pittsburgh and Detroit. It's a must-win game for Detroit. Pittsburgh is banged up. They're not good offensively. On that turf, I think there's going to be a lot of problems for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense because they are not good against the run. I like Jahmyr Gibbs 2 touchdowns this week. That's plus two. That's plus 200.
I love that because I was at work messing around with this weekend's different parlays I'm gonna put in, and I was peeping a Jahmyr Gibbs 2 touchdown.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that a whole lot.
So I like I said, Cowboys Chargers under. I like Saquon anytime touchdown, and I like Gibbs 2 touchdowns. Again, the Steelers struggle against the run, but also we know Gibbs is going to get touches out of the backfield as a receiver as well. So I think there's an opportunity for him to get 2 touchdowns this week and a must-win game for Detroit.
But that's plus what?
That's plus 200.
And what's the under for that Chargers game?
49.5.
Okay. All right. Bet. Yeah, I like those. For me, I'm pretty much, I got 2 of my old faithfuls and then one I'm kind of going out there a little bit. So my first leg's going to be he's become pretty much Mr. Automatic. I'm going Myles Garrett, sack, minus 188. He's a monster. He's about to get the sack record.
He's right on the cusp of the record. Yep. So Myles Garrett.
And he's like 10 ahead of number 2. You know, he's having a monster season.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I was telling Tripp this on Monday. So Michael Parsons was 3rd with 12.5 sacks. Myles Garrett, like you said, was damn near 10 up on 2nd and 3rd place.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. My next is going to be the 49ers game. Mr. Reliable. He's slowly turning into Mr. Automatic for this 49ers offense. I'm going
CMC.
Nope.
Oh, Kittle.
I'm going Kittle.
I like
anytime touchdown, plus 120. And then this is where I'm kind of stepping out there a little bit because I wanted to juice the number a little bit. Quietly is kept over there in Arizona since Kyler Murray's been injured. Jacoby Brissett's been putting up numbers.
He has.
And this week, who they got this week? Hold on, I just had it right here.
I just saw it as well. Hold on. I'm putting together the parlay on FanDuel right now so we can see what the total odds will be. They got the Falcons this week.
Yeah, the Falcons in Arizona, right?
Yep.
I'm not worried about the Falcons defense at all. And I think this is 2 bad teams that's might go up and down the field.
I like that one too, yeah. I thought about that.
I'm going Jacoby Brissett, 300 yards passing. That's plus 290.
I see that, yeah.
But I think he can do that against a Falcons team that, like, who are you worried about defensively for them? And it's 2 bad football teams that I think really are going to be trading scores all day. I kind of like the over that game too.
Right, 2 bad football teams with no weather playing a factor because they're in the dome.
Right.
Yeah, that might be just a fuck it, air it out.
Yep.
Let's see, what am I missing here? I think Vegas likes a lot of our picks here because even with what I'm putting in here, we not even at $1,000 on $10.
Damn, really?
So now, if I put all 6 picks in, so Jahmyr Gibbs 2 touchdowns, Kittle anytime touchdown, under on the Chargers Cowboys, Brissett 300 yards, Saquon anytime touchdown, Myles Garrett sack, $10 would get us $1,300.
Okay. I mean,
I like it. I'm gonna place it though.
yeah.
I'm gonna place that.
Yeah. I think all those are reachable. It's nothing crazy. I love that give 2 touchdowns. I was looking at that earlier at work. I'm glad you picked that.
Not only do I like that one, I might even put that on a separate ticket because I was thinking about pairing him with another running back to get 2 touchdowns this week, but I really couldn't confirm who I wanted to go with. I was thinking of doing Hn because with the rookie
Against
quarterbacks,
Cincinnati defense.
against Cincinnati defense, I thought about last week. Derrick Henry scored 1. The Patriots struggle against the run game. You saw James Cook had a big game against them this past week. And because the Ravens are desperate, I wondered if maybe you go with Henry there for 2. And then there was one other running back I thought about this week too. I thought about going with Cook. But I don't know because the Bills line is so high against the Browns. If the Bills get up big on them, they might kind of take the gas off the pedal.
Yeah, true.
Because this game, I mean, it means something for the Bills, but at the same time, they don't want to show too much this week. They still got 2 weeks to go to try to see if they can win the division.
Yeah.
So, but give me a final thought,
Will. This week, I want everybody to, because I was thinking we might not probably air next week, so I just wanted everybody to have a Merry Christmas and enjoy it with your family. It ain't about the gifts; it's about the time. You know what I mean? Spend time with your loved ones. Appreciate being with your family if you can. And keep in mind those less fortunate than you. It's a lot of people out here that, they cold at night. You know what I'm saying? They don't got us nothing under their tree. They don't even have a tree. You know what I mean? So keep those people in your mind, and keep rocking with the Sanchez show. We're gonna be back with that good shit. Rolling into the playoffs. And you see what it is. You see what it is. Well, we're gonna take those Cowboys out this weekend, and I know some Cowboy fans to be lurking around this joint. Y'all be quiet. Y'all be quiet a lot. So if y'all end up having a miracle happen, I don't want to see y'all popping up in the chat next time we come on in.
Listen, I second that. Like I said, it's holiday season. We will keep you guys posted because obviously Christmas Eve and then New Year's Eve right after that. So it may be a little difficult for us to get a live going with the time that we spend with our families. But I want to make sure you guys are spending time with your families as well. Spend time with your loved ones. Enjoy their company. Enjoy their time, man, because life is very precious and you never know when that might be that last opportunity or last holiday with that loved one. So definitely take advantage of that. I want to say not only thank you to the supporters because you guys, again, we normally record on Wednesdays. It's a Thursday night, and the moment I logged in, we already had about 7 to 8 comments. The comment section was buzzing. I saw people coming in on Instagram as well. So it lets us know that y'all fuck with us and y'all like what we're doing, and we appreciate that. If we don't record the next 2 weeks, I want to take this opportunity to tell my brother Will Gordon, man, I really appreciate you, bro. I know we both make sacrifices to be able to record. You know what I'm saying? We got families and we got things we're trying to do. But my brother comes with the energy all the time, ready to go. We create a great platform and a great show. And it's something that we both enjoy doing in the interaction with the fans. So it's beautiful. And like I said, if we don't get a chance to record before the end of the year, I want to let everybody know that I'm thankful for my brother Will Gordon, man. Because I definitely feel
man. Thankful for you, bro.
Facts. Because like I told you before, man, I enjoy doing this, but I more so enjoy being able to have the opportunity to chop it up with you for the hour and a half every week. You know what I'm saying? And we think alike about a lot of some of these same things. We have a good laugh. We enjoy each other's company on the live. And then we able to say, yo, we're going to do it again next week. So with that being said, like I said, just be on the lookout. We'll put a post up and let you guys know if we're going to be recording on Christmas Eve. If not, Merry Christmas to everybody. Appreciate the love and support. And we'll be back with you guys very, very soon. But for my brother Will Gordon, I am Eric Sanchez. We are the Opinionated Ones as part of the Sanchez Show. And we'll see you guys soon, man. Enjoy your night.